Hi there everybody, and welcome to another video. On today's video I have this BMW 520 diesel. This is a 2015 and the F11, and I'm gonna be changing one side of the air suspension. So my left side here seems to be always low, so come in the morning, basically this is sitting right down here. At the moment it's a little bit higher because I already elevated it a little bit, but come the morning this wheel arch will be around somewhere here, and don't even have to wait overnight, maybe a couple of hours, and this is already down. The other side, it's normally sitting a little bit higher. That leads me to believe, and obviously when I start the car pumps the air suspension, and this goes up again, and it remains up while through the duration of using the car. So the pump is working, the pump is actually pumping the air, but one of the common issues is that the actual air suspension, the bellows, or well, what is supposed to be a spring is not a spring, it's an airtight sort of rubber boot, tends to leak. So I'm gonna be changing that today, but before I start that, I think there's two ways you can release the air pressure from those bellows. One is you disconnect the little hose from the pump, and then the air will leak out, or the other way is we use ISTA here. So I'm just using this, I'm in the service function here, and I open the chassis and suspension, and then electronic ride height control, and then you will find filling and discharging air from air bellows. You can just about see that. So I'm gonna select that and then go here and select that there, electronic ride height control, filling and draining. So let's just display that, click OK on that, and then you're gonna get this, and here it says filling the air spring bellows and bleed of the air bellows. So we want to bleed it, basically we want to release the pressure in it. So the following preconditions must be fulfilled. The vehicle is standing on a hoist, vehicle hoist. The vehicle is not raised. Connect battery charger, ignition on, electrical fuse of the compressor removed, and then if it's necessary to remove the compressor fuse in order to avoid control process of the air suspension when bleeding the air bellows, proceed according to the wiring diagram. They show you the wiring diagram here, so you can disconnect the fuse, and the fuse for that is a 40 amp fuse, number 1 F182. It's just showing us that there. So we can disconnect that and then have the specified preconditions being met. Then we're gonna say yes, but I have to disconnect the fuse. Which is why I had this open here. Fuses are there. fuse number 182 is the one, this one here, 40 amp fuse, that one there. There is another 40 amps sitting below that, or you can see here fuse number 182 is that one there. Okay, so that is off. And the other thing that we need is a battery charger, because while you do this procedure, obviously your battery may get drained, as the car has to be, the ignition is on. And then the vehicle is standing on a vehicle hoist. The vehicle is not raised, right? So it's just basically it's supported, because when we drain it, it will basically go down. So I'm gonna start the process now. I'm gonna say yes here and continue. In the following steps, the air seals are bled via the discharge valve. A procedure of the air spring bleeding routine takes about 2 minutes. Up to 3 runs through the bleeding procedure may be necessary in order to release the pressure from the air suspension. After running through the process 3 times, a cooling down period must be adhered to. Okay, so I'm gonna start the procedure. I'm gonna start the procedure there. Select one and continue. So, air spring bleeding routine in progress. Please wait. So we're gonna wait for that. Okay, so I got that message. The air spring bleeding routine has been carried out once, and now we're gonna repeat it as it says. Do it 3 times. So say, do you wish to repeat the air spring bleeding? Yes, and click continue. And as it says, have to wait a couple of minutes. Okay, now it says the air spring bleeding routine has already been repeated at least 2 times. In order to prevent mechanical damage to the air seals, the vehicle must now be raised using the vehicle hoist. Lift the vehicle with the help of a vehicle hoist. So I already got it up on the ramp a little bit. I mean, the wheels are off the ground, so we can continue here. The air spring bleeding routine will be repeated in the next step. Continue, and then say yes, and continue. Number of runs through the bleeding procedure 3. Air spring bleeding routine in progress. Right, so we'll wait for that as well, another 2 minutes. Okay, so it says now the air spring bleeding routine has already been carried out 3 times. To protect the discharge valve, a further routine can only be performed after the cooling down period. The cooling down period is 12 minutes. So let's wait 12 minutes and we can do one more routine. Okay, I waited a little bit longer than 12 minutes. I'm gonna continue here. And it says, all right. Okay, so that's gonna, okay, so it's timing it now. Even though I already waited the time, I don't know if I can continue on that. No, it won't allow me. Right, so I didn't know it was gonna time it by itself if you press continue. So I'll have to wait another 12 minutes. And while you are doing that, you may notice that the ignition goes off sometimes. So you'll have to switch it on again before you continue, otherwise the connection will be lost. But it should find itself again. It's happened to me once that the connection, it got disconnected, and while it was doing part 2 of the discharge, and then I had to switch on the ignition on, and then it reconnected. So yes, it's one of the reasons we need a charger, because you need to have the ignition on quite a lot and while you're doing the procedure, and then the battery can go down. So waiting time is finished, ignition is off, so I'm just gonna switch it on again, make sure everything is on. Now it says, in the following step, the air seals are bled via the discharge valve. A procedure of the air bleed routine takes about 2 minutes. So that's just showing you what I was at the beginning. Interface was disturbed, press OK, so it should reconnect. So well, actually, to be honest, I had a quick look at the back, and the air spring is already lost all of its air, so technically we don't really need to run this again. It does say there you can do a further run, but after the cooling down process, but I really don't think it's necessary, really. Right, the air spring blade routine has been carried out once, so basically what it's doing is going through the same process again. So we don't need to. Do you wish to repeat the air spring procedure again? So I'm just gonna say no this time, and then continue. The air spring bleeding routine should not be repeated. Remove the spring strut according to the repair instructions. Caution: danger of injury from excess residual pressure in the air suspension system. Continue. End of service function, and we'll just continue on that. So now we're gonna go and remove the air spring, and next time we're gonna have to activate the compressor to pump the air back in there. So now I'm just gonna switch the ignition off and gonna get the car up a little bit. There's the charger for my laptop as well. Just trying to make sure the laptop also stays alive. Okay, so looking at the car from just here or from here, that's our air suspension there. You can see it's lost all of its air. You can press it and the air is gone. So I'm gonna use a flathead screwdriver here to just put it in there, in between that plastic, just to remove that bit. It's just plugged in, as you can see in here, so you got some clips there. You can push it from here as well, but it's just a bit easier to pull it out this way. And you can see there's no pressure on it at all. Maybe a little bit, but it's very negligible. And we're gonna need a 10mm spanner also, in order to disconnect this little red hose here. Now this little red hose, so if you haven't got ISTA, or what's it called, ISTA, to drain the system, you could use, let me just get this on here somehow. Okay, so if you haven't got ISTA, you could always just follow this. The pump is just sitting at the back. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And that pump, you can disconnect the hose with a 10mm spanner, gradually disconnect it, and that will release the air. So anyway, let's remove this one. So we're gonna turn it anti-clockwise a little bit, and that is going to release this from here. So let's just get this out. Okay. As you can see, the hose is just up there. Okay. That's our connection there. So 10mm spanner should fit in there, and you can take that off. And you may notice this is not tight at all, so when you refit this, be sure not to over tighten this, because you can damage the little red hose there. Okay, that has to come out through this little hole here. So this, okay, we have this little like a retaining clip in there. So we're gonna take that out. Okay, it's just proving a little bit difficult to take it out. So I'm gonna open it a little bit. It's got an opening there. Just gonna try to open it a bit and then take it out. That little thing sort of bends open a little bit, and then it comes out. Which then obviously will allow you to remove this here. I don't know if the new part comes with new of those. So, and there's the hose there. I can see that little ring was basically holding in these two little grooves here. Right, so technically now we should be able to get this out of here. And is the only way in which it can also go in. Okay, right, just a bit of pushing it in and out. And that comes out. So you can see how it sort of wears out as it goes up and down. I guess inflates. This little boot starts cracking around all around here. You can see the cracks there a lot more when I do that. So that could easily be leaking from any of those bits, really. The little black cover from there is gone flying. I don't know if I will need one of these. I mean, if this will come with one of these or not. No, this was like this, right? Okay, so I'm just waiting for the bit to come. Then we have to refit this, and then we're gonna go through the procedure of inflating this again, which may require us to put the fuse on. So we'll follow the instructions on ISTA. Okay, I have my new bit here. The make of this is an APEC or APEC. Where's that one there? AAS 1002. So we're gonna put this through here. Okay, now this thing here can only fit one way, but before that we have to fit our hose, which has to go through here. So the part came with a new bit. And that little ring there. Which we just need to put that through there. So we need to feed the little pipe through here, feed it back, him. It's a little bit fiddly. Just want to get it down with where the two previous marks were. I think some people cut the holes there. I don't know if that's necessary. I don't want to open it too much because it might get damaged. So just going to open it a little bit so I can push it down. Basically. Okay, get it down there. Now this is gonna go on that like so, and then we can fit this back in there. And make sure you get it in there by hand. So let's make sure it's going in the correct thread. And once you get in there, we can tighten that a little bit. Okay, just don't overdo it. I think that should do the job really. And then we have to line up this with the top up there. Okay, that's in, and I just lock it. Turn it right and lock it. And then we can pull this down. Pull this bit down. Okay, so just pull that down and it will click onto the hole underneath. And now I'm just gonna refit the tire, and then we'll be ready to start pumping some air via the computer. To fill the air spring bellows, the filling routine solely serves the refilling of the air seals. The filling routine may be carried out solely for the refilling of the air seals and with connected compressed air lines. Should the filling routine be carried out, yes, continue. The following precautions must be fulfilled. The vehicle must not be parked on the floor. The wheels must hang freely at least 30 centimeters above the floor. Connect battery charger, ignition on, electrical fuse on the compressor inserted. Okay, so I'm just gonna connect the fuse, make sure the car is on the ramp. Okay, reconnect the fuse. Okay, fuse is in. Now, like I said, I only changed one side. I think it's recommended, or would be better to change both sides. Now it says about 30 centimeters above. I'm just gonna close this for now. Okay. Now we can say yes and continue. The air seals are supplied with air in the following steps. The ventilation lasts about 40 seconds. Start the ventilation routine now. Yes. Okay, that was interrupted because my battery was, well, everything was disconnected while I was changing the air springs. So let's just wait for this to reconnect. I just got a little clock there. Okay, it's working now. I can hear the pump pumping. Wheels going down. Okay. And it says end service function. Continue. And that's it. So technically we finish the procedure here. So I'm just gonna lower the car and see where we are at. Okay, so I just lowered the car went all the way down, and now the pump is actually pumping air into the air springs. And that's where we're at. I'm gonna finish lowering this. And hopefully the job is now done. So I'm gonna leave the car sitting now for a while and check it out later. So I couldn't finalize the video while I was at the garage, but after a couple of days the air spring suspension has been fine now. That side, the passenger side in this case, has not dropped again. So the replacement was successful, but really changing both sides is really the best thing to do, because the other side will be just as deteriorated as as the one we removed. So that's something I'll have to consider doing later. But this particular person that owns the car didn't want to change both sides in this occasion, so never mind. We'll leave it till next time. So Hope the video helps. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to check my merchandise, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.